So this is Spencer Lake now. We just had to leave Finley State Park because there's a lot of people there and trying to make a video. Yes, we are back in Ohio. Bill had an injury. Our last stop was the Nantahala Outdoor Center. We took the bus and head back to Ohio. With this video, we are going to tell you what's really going on and what now. What's gonna happen now.
So yeah, like my wife said, we chose to get off at the NOC. We had been doing everything that was recommended, going lower mileage, things like that. I even resupplied a little less than I normally would, just trying to have a little less weight, and it just wasn't helping. My Achilles is getting worse and worse. So some people on Facebook had reached out and said that they could help us out with a ride to Asheville from the NOC if we needed that. So we went ahead and we took them up on their offer, and it was actually a beautiful hike, but it was just so painful the last maybe 2 miles. I was probably only walking about half a mile an hour, and it just, yeah, I could barely even walk when we got down to the NOC. So another reason we decided to be done at the NOC and not just take a rest and try again the next day was because the first 7 miles out of the NOC are like all straight uphill. It's about a 4,000 foot climb, and I've heard that even the second day is still pretty much mostly uphill. So we just decided that, yeah, we had pushed it hard enough. I wasn't gonna obviously recover while we were on the trail, and after calling around to a couple of podiatrists in the area, it was just much cheaper for me to come home. We got bus tickets for under $100 for 2 bus tickets, and we took those people's offer up. They dropped us off at Asheville. We came home, and I began seeing my doctor for treatment.
You see it. You got it?
Nope, got him now.
Yeah. You see it, Macy?
He's like, I don't care.
All right.
It's just a little garter snake.
It's gonna bite you.
No, it's not.
Okay, it went down.
Well, of course it wants down.
All right.
So yeah, we got home, and I was able to see my doctor. He's does sports medicine, and he's also a chiropractor. We just began doing all the traditional treatments for Achilles tendonitis. He did a examination. Didn't bother with x-rays at the beginning because he said I clearly had no signs of any serious injuries like tears or ruptures or anything like that. But he knows I also have Achilles bursitis as well as the tendonitis. So began icing immediately. He gave me some stretches he wanted me to do. I mentioned to him a few things that I'd already looked at online as far as stretching routines and some exercises, and he said, yeah, those are great. That's what he'd recommend. Go ahead with those. He also began doing the STIM, I think it's called. It's also called a TENS unit. It's the electric shock therapy that helps your muscles loosen up, put some electrodes on you, and I'd lay there for like 15 minutes and get it iced and have him do that treatment. He was doing some laser light therapy. Apparently a certain wavelength of light causes cells to produce more energy and heal faster, and it especially works on tendons and ligaments, things like that. My left leg did heal up really quick. My right leg is still actually not 100% perfect. Eventually it got to the point where after about 3 weeks of treatment or so, went ahead and he knows a place that does MRIs with older machines. They're a little more affordable. So Monday I got a MRI done, and the results came in yesterday, Wednesday. And basically I still have a little of the bursitis, but the radiologist, their assessment was that it's extremely minor. So my doctor said I'm okay to hike. It may be uncomfortable for a while. If it does continue to get worse and more painful, then I'll have to see a specialist. But he thinks that I'm at the point now where I kind of need to start working through the pain and the injury a little bit. Sorry as I step over a blowdown here. Like I said, I had the MRI and things are looking a lot better, and we're going to start hiking again next week.
We're now going to go back to the NOC and continue hiking northbound. We will be doing a flip-flop. If you don't know what a flip-flop is, let me explain. Bill and I decided to do a flip-flop of the Appalachian Trail. Yes, the Nobo Appalachian Trail thru-hike ended at the NOC, but this doesn't mean it's over. This only means we changed our approach in finishing the thru-hike. This time, we start close to midpoint of the Appalachian Trail at mile 1025.4, Harper's Ferry, and keep hiking northbound to Maine. Get dropped off at Harper's Ferry again, hike southbound to the NOC, which is at mile 136.9. Probably hike all the way back to Georgia to finish the flip-flop 100%.
So yeah, one of the treatments, like I said before, was icing my Achilles, and not just like any old ice, but buckets full of ice and water. And luckily I had a pretty good Rubbermaid bin that worked for that. It's a nice size. I could fit both feet in at once instead of having to do 2 buckets. But yeah, that was pretty cold and uncomfortable. Maybe my wife will put in a clip of when she tried it out. I was supposed to do that for twice a day for 15 minutes each time, and definitely at the beginning I did that, but as the swelling started to go down, I kind of slacked off a bit. I mean, I was allowed to anyway. So the other thing I was supposed to do, I traded out the ice bucket in the morning for like a ice blanket, like a big ice pack, and it was kind of dumb. Didn't really pay any attention to what I was doing one morning. I threw it on a bin on a pillow and dropped my feet on it, and I sat there, play some video games or watch YouTube or something, I don't remember which, and left my legs there for like half an hour, which I could, but it was supposed to be covered. So basically I like kind of gave myself superficial frostbite on the back of my Achilles and my heel and stuff. So at least for a little while there, that was more painful than the injury itself. It was kind of funny. My doctor said, he saw that and he's like, what's going on here? And I told him, he's like, oh man, he's like, that's gonna hurt for a while, and it did. Yeah, that was one of the little minor mishaps. And I should have remembered too, because there was in the Army, upstate New York, you know, it gets super cold in the winter, and it would happen to people all the time. They'd go to using the porta potties when we'd be out in the field or at a range or something, and they could use a porta potty and it'd be like -20, and they'd do the same thing. People would like sit down on the toilet seat and not put like a layer of toilet paper first, and when they go to stand up, they'd like rip the skin off the back of their thighs, and they'd be miserable for the rest of the field problem. I should have learned my lesson the hard way, and I never did.
Okay, so we are in the car now. We're heading back. We're really excited now because we will be leaving. Soonest will be Tuesday. We cannot wait to see the Appalachian Trail again. The Appalachian Mountains.
I don't know if I even got that on the video. I might have held it at the wrong angle. So anyway, yeah, Ohio had its share of winds too recently. We had a couple windstorms since we've been home, and there's plenty of blowdowns here, just like some of the spots on the AT that happened.
Come on, Nancy.
So I would start out with that and just say,
what is a flip-flop? A flip-flop is, you don't start from, what?
it's a flip-flop. I thought you wanted
Grab your flip-flop. You actually hit my camera, thanks.
So it's on the camera.
I don't know. Let me go see. I'll look at it. So, when I talk about flip-flop, it means we're not going to start on both ends of... What are you doing? About the size of a worm, you say?
Yep.
Wow.
He couldn't bite me if he tried, as he bites me. No, just kidding. It's still a little guy.
I can't believe you're not even scared.
Of a worm?
It's gonna fall.
It's not gonna get hurt, though.